Okay, we're going to go over your review. And so it says, number 1, a set of weights includes a 3-pound barbell and 5 pairs of weight plates. And so if I think about this as a picture, here's my barbell, and then we're going to add on the pairs of weights. Each pair of plates weighs 10 pounds. If X pairs of plates are added to the barbell, the total weight of the barbell and plates in pounds can be represented by f of x equals 10x plus 3. What is the domain and range for the function for this situation? So remember, domain is x, and here they said that x is the pairs of plates. And you don't have to put any on, which is 0. Or you could put 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5 pairs on. And then the range is your y, and in this equation here, the y is the total weight. So if I don't have any plates on, I still have a 3-pound barbell. If I put 1 pair on, we're adding 10 pounds. So that's 13. If I put 2 pairs on, I have 23, and I'm just going to keep going up by 10s until I get to 5 pairs on, and then I have a total of 53 pounds. All right, number 2, domain and range of the following graph. So domain is your x values, and if I look here, that point starts at 0 on the x. Right, so if I were to actually label that point, it would be 0, about 250,000. And so my x value is 0, so x is greater than or equal to 0 because it goes on and on forever. My y value, this 250,000, also gets bigger and bigger forever. So range is y, and it's greater than or equal to 250,000. Okay. Number 3, if f of x equals 2x plus 10 and g of x equals 4/5 x minus 12, what is the value of f of 7 plus g of negative 25? And if you recall, whenever we have something inside, that's your x value. So we're just plugging it in for x. And this f of 7 goes with my function f. And the g of negative 25 goes with my function g. So you could type in the calculator negative 2 times 7 plus 10. And then you could type in 4/5 times negative 25 minus 12 and see what those equal. And I've actually already typed them into the calculator. So the negative 2 times 7 plus 10 is negative 4. And 4/5 times negative 25 minus 12 is negative 32. And then if you just add them together, you get negative 36. Okay. Another way that you could have done it, I'm only going to show you for one of them, is that if you went to a graph page, and you typed in negative 2x plus 10. This is the way I showed you in class. And you go to your table, you would look for 7. And if I find 7 on my x, the answer here was negative 4. And so you could have done that for both and then added them together. Okay. Number 4, Speedy Boat Rental charges a $15 deposit fee plus $2 for each hour of use to rent a paddle boat. You can rent a boat for a maximum of 8 hours. If I were to make an equation out of this, y equals 2x, because that's where my multiply word is, plus 15. And so 2 for each hour, which means x is hours. That's my domain, is number of hours. And so how many hours can we rent the boat? For a maximum of 8 hours. So from 0 to 8. And we can have everything in between, so we use the inequality symbols. The range is the total cost. So if I don't actually go out for 8 hours, I still paid $15 for the boat rental. And the range is your y. And then if I do rent for the whole 8 hours, 2 times 8 plus 15 is 31. Or another way to do that is, again, we like this graph page quite a bit. Oops, hold on. So menu, graph page, and I type in 2x plus 15, and then I go to my table. So if I'm looking at my table and I find 0, I'll scroll up. At 0, I still pay $15, but at 8, I pay 31. So that's another way to use your calculator to get your answer. Number 5, domain and range for this quadratic function. So the domain is my x. Does it go left forever? Does it go right forever? And of course it does. So my domain is all real numbers. My range is my y values, and it's starting up here at 7, and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller forever. So my range is y is less than or equal to 7, or in words you would say all real numbers, less than or equal to 7. Okay. All right, number 6. Find the slope of each graph below. And so these were actually on the quiz video, your quiz from Friday that I made the video over. And so the first one is talking about driving a truck and the fuel or gasoline over the time driven in hours. And a couple ways to find slope. Plot some points, right? You need 2 points no matter which way you find slope, you need 2 points. And if I look on a graph and I plotted these 2 points, I'm going down 200. Remember, slope is always change in y over change in x. Or your fall and your run, because this time I'm falling. I'm falling, which is negative 200, and I'm running 20. And if I simplify that, I get negative 10. Another way you could have done it is you could have plotted those 2 points. So I'll write them over here as an XY table. 0, 200, which is your y-intercept, and 20, 0, which is your x-intercept down here. And those two you would put into list and spreadsheet and see what your slope is. So my slope is going to be negative 10. Okay. Or you would find your change. I went minus 200, up 20, again, change in y over change in x. Lots of ways to do it. Okay, but you can't say it's down 1 over 1, down 1, right 1. If you say negative 1 is your slope, you're incorrect because you're not looking at the graph. It's going up by 2's and on the x, and it's going up by 20's on the y. All right, this next one, same thing. It's not going up by 1, so you can't tell me it goes up 4 and over 5, which some of you did on your quiz. So my slope here's a good point, 0, 0, right, x, y, I have 0, 0, which is my x and my y-intercept. Then I have this point over here, which is 40, 320. Okay, and so if I were to just calculate my slope, this is up 320 and up 40, and my slope is change in y over change in x, so 320 over 40, which is 8. If I were to count it here, I can't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not how that works because it's not going up by 1s, okay? So my slope, if I were to rise, I would still say I'm rising 320, and I'm running, I go over 40, which simplifies to 8. And I'm going to show you how to type this into the calculator just as a reminder. So I'm going to use these 2 points that we wrote here. And so on the calculator, I go to list and spreadsheet, and I put x and y and 0, 40. And the bell's about to ring, so you're going to hear that, and I'm going to keep going. 320. And then control, nope, not control, menu 413. We change X for X and Y for Y, and then we press OK. And I pushed cancel on accident, so I'm going to start over. 413. Okay, and that tells me that my slope is 8, and my y-intercept is 0. Okay. All right. On the back, so I'm going to get through this. What is the domain and range of the function graph below? And so this time my graph does not have arrows, so you really should box it in. Okay. And we're looking at the domain, which is my x values, so that goes in the center if I'm writing it algebraically, and it goes from -9 all the way over to 10. And at -9 I have an open circle, so not equal to, and at 10 I have a closed circle, so we put the equal to. And if we were to write this in words, all real numbers less than or equal to 10 and greater than -9. Okay. My range is my y values. My y values go from -3 all the way up to 4. So -3 to 4. At -3 I have a line, which means a closed circle, and at +4 I have a closed circle, so same thing. So I put equal to on both of those. So when I describe this one in words, I would say all real numbers less than or equal to 4 and greater than or equal to -3. Okay, number 8. Okay, which graph does not represent y as a function of x? So just remember that you have to draw vertical lines, and if it touches only once, then it's a function. So all of these ones are functions. Then when we get to this last one, we touch 1, 2, 3 times, so this is not a function. It does not pass the vertical line test. Okay, so a couple calculator questions. Number 9 is list and spreadsheets. I'm going to go to the calculator and get a new document. And we put x and y at the top. And then I type in the numbers. So 0, 24, 32, 36, and 16, 7, 4, and 2.5. And then we press menu 4, 1, 3, change x to x and y to y, and it tells us our slope and our y-intercept. Okay, so it says what is the equation, and if you write -0.375 x, you probably won't see that, so you need to change it to a fraction by pressing Control-C to copy it. Then you go to a new page, Control Doc, add a calculator page, Control-V to paste it, and we press menu, 2 for number and 2 for fraction, and press enter. So my equation is y equals -3/8 x plus 16. Okay, so this is where you do list and spreadsheet. And remember, when you type them all in, it's menu 4, 1, 3. Okay, number 10, if you're going to use list and spreadsheet, you first should make a table. So 32, 5, -47, 13. And you could just type that in the way I did number 9, or you can find the change. So the change in y is plus 8. The change in x is minus 79. And so my slope is change in y over change in x, which is 8 over negative 79. If you were to just type that in, it's not going to change, but they will put the negative either on top or out in front. Okay? Remember, if you use list and spreadsheet, you're going to get a big decimal, and so you just press Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste onto a calculator page. All right, these last 3 are all about transformations, and so remember, f of x equals x, and then g of x is f of x plus 1, which means this f of x changes to x. So I have g of x equals x plus 1. If I were to go graph that, it will show you what happens. So my original is x, and now I push tab to get my new one, which is x plus 1. And what happened is the whole graph moved up 1. Okay, so it shifted up 1. The next one, again, f of x is x, and g of x is f of x minus 4. So this gets replaced with x. You would rewrite it as g of x equals x minus 4. And this one is, anytime you change the number at the end, it makes it shift. So if I press tab, I'm going to go change it. Instead of plus 1, we're going to write minus 4. And the black one moved down 4. So it shifted down 4. Okay, and then the last one, same thing though. F of x is x, and g of x is 2f of x. So that part changes. So g of x is really 2x. And so when I go type that one in, I'm going to change this to 2x. And so now my black line, my 2x, is steeper. It didn't move up or down, it's just steeper. Okay, so g of x is steeper.